Hamlet.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds a Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowns herself in her own defense?
Why? 'Tis found so.
It must be, say, offendo. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself willingly, it argues an act hath be gracious. It is to act, to do, to perform. Ergo, she willingly drowns herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man, Delver.
Give me leave, here lies the water. Good, here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is will he, nil he goes. Mark you that, but if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns on himself, ergo, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
What is this law?
Aye, Mary, is it Crowner's quest law?
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out o Christian burial.
Why there thou sayest, and the more pity the great folk should have countenance in this world to drowning or hanging themselves. More than the even Christian, come my spade, there is no ancient gentleman, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave markers, they hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none?
What art a heaven? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thee answerest me not to purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well. In good faith the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do it. Now thou dost thou say, the gallows is built stronger than the church. Ergo, the gallows may do well to thee, to its coming game.
Who built stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Mary, now I can tell.
To it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked the question next, say a grave maker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go get thee to Yunningham. Fetch me a stoop of liquor.
Youth, when I did love, me thought it was very sweet to contract. Oh, the time for my behove. Oh, me thought there was nothing meet. Has this fellow no feeling of his business, that he sings at grave-making? Custom hath made in him a property of easiness. 'Tis even so, the hand of little employment hath the daintier sense. But age, with this feeling steps, hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such. Woo! The skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground, as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of the politician, which this ass now overreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not? It might, my lord. Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord. How dost thou, good lord? This might be the lord such a one that praises my lord such a one's horse, when he meant to beg it, might it not? Aye, my lord. Why, even so, and now my lady's worms chapless, and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more than the breeding, but to pay at the loggets with them? Mine ache to think of it. A pickaxe and a spade, for an shredding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet. There's another. Why may not be, that be the skull of a lawyer? Where his quiddities now, his quillets, his cases, his tentures, and his tricks. Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be, in times, great buyer of land, with his statuettes, his recognizes, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines, and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and doubles once too, than the length and breadth of the air of identity? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double once too, than the length and breadth of his pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will hardly lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more half.
Not drop more, my lord.
It is not parchment made of sheepskins. Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too. They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sire? Mine, sir. Oh, a bit of clay forward to be made for such a guest as meet. I think it be thine, indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore it is yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be it is say thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick, therefore thou liest.
'Tis the quick lie, sir. 'Twill away gain from me to you.
What man thou dost dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is this to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute that knife is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years I have taken a note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near to the heel of the courtier. He gasps his knives. How long hast thou been a gravemaker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent him to England.
Hey, Mary, why has he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Fate even with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark I have seen sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocket courses nowadays, that will sacrifice hold the laying in, he will last you some 8 year or 9 year, and 10 will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade, that he will keep our water a great while, and the water is a sore decay of the force of dead bodies. Here's a skull now. The skull was laid in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A wholesome man, no, fellows, it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I do not know.
A pestilence on him for a man's rogue, a poured a flag on a Flemish, on my head once. The same skull, sir, was York's skull, the king's justice.
This?
Even that.
Let me see. Alas, poor York. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rims at it. Here hung those lips that I had kissed. I know of how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment, that were wont on the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quiet chap fallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To his favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing. What's that, my lord? Does thou think Alexander looked of this fashion in the earth? Even so. And smelt so? Pah! Even so, my lord. To what base use we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagine trace the noble dust of Alexander, till he find it stopping a bunghole? 'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so. No faith, not a jot more, but to follow him thither, and modesty enough, and like likelihood to lead it. As thus, Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust, and dust its earth. Of earth we make loam, and why of that loam whereto he was converted? Might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that's that earth, which keeps the world in awe, should patch a wall to expel the winter flaw. But soft, here comes the king.